And thank you. And then let's check if we can see that. All right, there we go. Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm so happy, excited because today is a special edition of the Truth Runners Talk Show. I have a very, very special guest with me today, and I am very, very happy, honored to kick this off with Ronald Dillard Jr. Thank you so much, Ronald, for accepting my invitation to being here with me today. I know it's very early there, so thank you from the bottom of my heart.
It is my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Guys, before we kick in, what I would love to do is I would love to introduce Ronald Dillard Jr. to you guys. It's the first time when he's joining us in the Truth Runners Talk Show, and I would really love to say that we really truly have a special guest today. Ronald is a director, producer, writer, and an actor. He launched by writing, producing, directing, and co-starring in the first theatrical production, I Deserve Better, followed by A Player's Last Play, and released his first feature film, A New Mentality. He then wrote, produced, directed, and released at AVOD 3 more award-winning festival short films, along with She Wrote Green, Unbrotherly Love, The Color in Your Eyes, and A Monster. Impacted by the brutal killings of Black men in America, in 2020, Ron responded by writing, co-directing, producing, and starring in the multiple award-winning When We Pray on Them. The film depicting a police interrogation that unexpectedly flips the script has been selected in over 70 festivals and has won 13 awards, including Best Short Film, Critics' Choice Award, and Best Actor. His next adventure is expanding into the series landscape as a showrunner, creating 3 television shows, 2 one-hour dramas. Films in development include The Side Chick and Meet Desmond. Additionally, Ronald gives back to his community by mentoring up-and-coming filmmakers in various aspects of filmmaking. That's an impressive journey, Ronald. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's really, really amazing. I would love to kick this off by saying that I can see that you are wear many hats, right? Director, actor, writer. Wow, that's a lot. We all wear many, many hats, right? Which one do you prefer the most?
You know, it's interesting. It all started. Acting is my first love. I've been acting since I was 12 years old. Acting is gave me an opportunity to explore, be different characters, and just to express different points and ideals that were different from my own. And anytime you can get up in front of someone and put on a performance that they enjoy, where they know that what this is isn't real, but you can have them buy into it, is one of the greatest feelings. But I have to say that right now, it really depends on which one that I can serve the best with a particular project, because I really have a great appreciation and I really enjoy all 4 of them. At the same time, I don't have an ego to the point I have to have all of those. If we have someone to serve the director that's going to take care of the job, I have no problem just serving as a writer, producer, actor. You know, it just really depends on what I need to do for the project. But a lot of times, going even back to college, you know, it was just imperative that there wasn't people to serve in all capacities, so I had to take on each one of those responsibilities, and that's kind of prepared me for my journey for what I do right now. But I do have a love and admiration for all of them. But if I had to pick one right now, it would probably be the writing and producing aspect of it, which correlates with, you know, television and going into show running. So
Why I'm not surprised, I know a fact about you that you are a storyteller. You love storytelling. Is that correct?
definitely, absolutely. The fact that you can take a story, for me, I've been fortunate to write stories that I'm fascinated about. No matter, even though I take on some hard subjects, there's something about that I'm fascinated about as far as I want the audience to think about, or hopefully give them a different perspective, or give them something to, I think it's better to learn a lesson from a character, from a fictional character, than for someone hopefully to have to continue to suffer or to continue to make mistakes or to continue to go in a certain way. You know, because sometimes I feel like in life nowadays we're on some people are on automatic. And sometimes it may take something to stop and say, you know what, let me think about my fellow person over here. Because life is hard and it can be cruel and it can be unforgiving and it could be unwavering. But sometimes for us to get a perspective to just say, you know what, how can I think about this? And because I do know what it's like to face the ridicule and pain and for people to be cruel to you. I do understand that. And if you can hopefully get a different perspective and turn that frown into a smile, what's better than that?
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I have to say that I absolutely agree with you because many people watch movies, right? And majority of them, they get inspired by different characters. And I really, truly appreciate and I feel into what you are saying that yes, they see a character and the life of the character, what they are saying resonates with them. And yet through the movie, through writing, you actually can change people's life. And you know what I always say, if we are able to change one person, one soul's life, that it's already worth it. And that's wonderful. I would love to ask you, Ronald, what actually inspired you to go into the entertainment industry? That's a huge $1 billion worth industry, with a lot of competition.
Mhm.
Wow, what made me, okay, I'm gonna be in the entertainment industry? What inspired you? Who inspired you?
Oh man, it all came from wanting to be an actor. It all came
Mhm.
from looking at television, from watching the Academy Awards every single year, from looking at movies. So,
How cool is that too?
growing up as a child, I wasn't like the popular guy. I wasn't the popular person, and I know what it's like to get teased and to get picked on, and I know what it's like to want to be someone else. So through
Mm.
acting, I could be someone other than myself. So that's what initially intrigued me about it. But then there was a hesitation, which was kind of, the standing up in front of people, the stage fright. And I have to give it up to my older brother. He doesn't know it, but he helped me with my stage fright because when he was a sergeant major of the battalion in high school, he got up in front of all these people and he was just commanding them, I want you to be loud and march tall and this. And I was like, how is he
How
sitting
you
here
do that?
talking to all in front of these people? I would be terrified. That set me on a path over the next 7 years to develop what I would call my method, which is know your lines like you know your name. And when you step on stage, when you speak in front of people, a lot of times it can be very intimidating. Well, don't let it be intimidating, be the intimidator. If I'm standing in
Mm.
front of you, you're not what to fear. I'm what to fear because I'm prepared, I'm confident, and I can't let jitters. See, when you get butterflies in your stomach and your hands shaking, the body's going to do that. But it's about what you do after that that matters. It's about being in the room, being engaged, focusing on what your objective is. If you have a play, saying your lines to the other actor, expressing yourself, using these great things about you, and we all have some great things about us, to our advantage instead of allowing it to use us to hold us back. Because one of the best things for me is to work with someone who is terrified to get up in front of people, and then they get up in front of people, they take care of business, and it look like it's effortless. If they never do it again, as long as they're not afraid to do it, that's all that matters. So
Oh, wow. Thank you. I love what you are sharing because I remember when I started, I was afraid to be on camera. I was afraid of speaking in front of people. And we always start that by when we get, over the fear and we realize that fear is really in our minds. We create that for ourselves.
yeah,
And then when you, kind of like own it, okay, I'm owning it. This is who I am. This is what I want to do. And that's beautiful. Thank
but I
you,
mean,
Ronald.
the biggest thing is that what's the biggest fear? You get up in front of people and go, oh my God, that's but if that happens, okay, it happened. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Whew. All right, let's try that again.
Let's try
You
again.
know, to get because that's like one of the worst things that can happen. But also to answer your question, if wanting to be in entertainment business, there's something about acting in the scene, specifically with people that you can go back and forth and you have a dance with that is exhilarating. There is
Mm.
something about being on set shooting a film that gets me excited. Some people when they go to Italy or if they go and they see the Grand Canyon, or they go and they see, the Coliseum, and where the gladiators play, they get a rush of seeing all that. When I went to LA and I saw those studios, it was like that for me. like, wow, this is where they shoot different things. This is where they host the Academy Awards, which is, I mean, most people could care less about it, but for me, it's like
This is what I want to be. It's like a dream come true, right?
I want to be here so bad. So yes, it's it really gets me going. It inspires me, and what you know, and another thing is about it because I had a fear. I was always encouraged to go to California, but I was always afraid to, and I didn't realize that that was my fear was tied to. Unfortunately, we had a house that burned down in 1996,
Mm,
and I realized that my fear of leaving was always with, I guess, what if I fail and I became homeless?
mm. I've
And
been there.
I often wonder what is more of a long shot, being afraid to go to LA for fear of failure, or trying to do it from Richmond, Virginia, which is not the capital, which is not the filmmaking capital of the world. It's not Atlanta, you know. I mean, they have more things that's going on here. But it's almost like which one? It's almost like you're probably better off going to LA than trying to do it here. But what I have to say is, no matter what happens next, I'm very, very proud of the work I did. Because see, I had given up. These 4 films represent what was going to be my last hurrah.
Mm.
Because with the 2 plays I did and the one film, I felt like there was nothing that said I'm good at this. There was nothing that said, hey, you have a future here. But doing these films, 270 selections. 3 of the films got selected in 36 film festivals together, all 4 in 10, and to get 67 awards total from writing, directing, producing, acting. And I don't do it from ego. I work really hard at each one of these. I mean, for me, I'm trying to give you Paramount Pictures. And that may sound, and maybe whether we hit the mark or not, I'm shooting for Warner Brothers here. If I do a play, I'm shooting for Broadway and just do all that I can to give you the best that I possibly can.
But that sounds brilliant. And you know why? Because you have a dream and you follow that dream and you never give up. And you were talking about failure. And that's a very interesting thing because we are afraid to fail. Why are we really afraid of? I mean, failure. I was afraid. I was, okay, what if I fail? But what if I succeed?
Mhm.
And if I fail, where I'm going to fail? I'm a zero. Ah, what am I?
It's, the thing is that I know I feel like I have failed a lot. I feel like I failed a lot, and I understand the fear. But I also would say for someone, particularly for young people, if you have a dream, I would start mapping out the next 3 years of that dream. If you can find a mentor, get one, because to understand and learn about about how you could be successful and how you can fail sooner than later, there's a lot of value in that. For example, if I were to do it over again, and I was 18 years old, I probably would work 2 jobs out of high school and save up as
Mm,
much money as possible for 2 years. Why would I do that? Because when I go to LA, I would have X amount of money in the bank. So instead of being a struggling actor, now I would basically reserve my resources. But now, if I have to take off 2 months to pursue these acting roles, I can pay the rent because I got 2 years of reserves saved up. You see what I'm saying? So now it's less scary, and now save myself up. Now everybody doesn't have that option, everybody have that opportunity, but if you can, why not? Or if you take 2 years and work with you work a lot of these different jobs, and you get as many films under your belt to have as much of a resume as you can, or taking different classes, just setting yourself up to go out there to say, hey, how successful can I be? And to me, if you are intimidated or have the fear I have, then I would ask you to close your eyes and imagine yourself being very
mm.
successful, because you want to think about both sides of the coin. So,
I love that. I love what you are saying. Number one, I love when you said that take a mentor because many people think, okay, I can do it by myself. But the truth is, help is always there. And we are afraid to ask help. So, number one, ask help. And yes, just go and chase your dreams. And it's not really chasing, but follow your dream really
yes.
because everything is possible, not being afraid of failure, right? And on this one, I would love to ask you the most probably, and this is an assumption from my side, but I shouldn't assume, the most probably you faced obstacles.
Mhm.
What was the biggest one? Were there any? at all.
The biggest obstacle that I face is probably myself. What I mean by myself is that what would happen after every project, I would pretty much have self-doubt.
Mm,
Should I
yeah,
keep doing
that's
this? Because understand, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of times to fund my projects, there was no trust fund. There was no job with a huge salary. There wasn't all this money that was given to me. It was fortunately having a job where there was unlimited overtime, where it normally doesn't happen for everybody.
mm,
So there was a sacrifice of working 60, 70, sometimes even 80 hours in a week to put the money away to be able to do it. Then having to take those resources and do it. Then several times going from X amount of dollars to zero. And to start over again, saving up again for anything is very
mm,
difficult. So that right there, it was a huge amount of obstacle for me to be able to climb. But at the same time, I realized I was fortunate enough to be able to do that because there are a lot of people that may want to do things and there is no resources, there is no opportunity to save over 8 months to give to be able to do that. So, but at the same time, another thing when you talk about help, I want to say this. We talked about help. I have to give another a hard thing about me dealing with myself. There were people there, like my mother who encouraged me, my friends. I call them the Petersburg crew and the Richmond crew, and they know who they are. The David E. Gordons of the world. And then also for these four films, it would be a crime if I did not recognize Mr. Sherrod Green. Sherrod Green is a young man who I admire, and I am better for having known this young man. I saw his work. Now, yes, write, direct, produce, and act. Yes, I can. But I'm not good at editing. I am not a good director of photography. I cannot light the scene. I have several cameras, but pointing them and making them look good, I'm not the guy. I'm not. And I met with this young man because of his work, and I told him about these films I wanted to do, and I showed him some of the work that I've done, and I promised him we were going to do better work than I had accomplished. And he just said, you know what? He saw my vision, he saw my passion. He said, I'll work with you. And the young man was as good as his word. Phenomenal. First of all, his talent, his intelligence, his integrity, and most of all, his character. And without him, these
mm.
films are not the same as what they are. So
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for appreciating really people who are around you and acknowledging yourself as well. And I know, and you said also that three of your films have been on film festivals. Now, how does that make you feel?
well, fortunately, we were able to get all four of them in different film
Four.
festivals. But maybe feel it may be, the whole goal for this for the films were to hopefully get some enough attention to then transition to the television shows
Mhm,
because I wanted to prove. Well, first of all, I wanted people to hopefully look at the films and it sparked conversation. I
mhm,
wanted people to then enjoy them or at least understand where we're coming from. And then I wanted to prove that I could tell multiple stories. But what ended up happening, we were shooting for what we call the major league film festivals, Tribeca, we were Sundance. That we didn't get into those. But what happened,
never
we
too
started
late.
to place into film festivals all across the world. The first film, I was going to stop entering a monster into a film festival because it's a tough film. Okay, it's not for everybody. All right, it's not. We won our first award in Hong Kong. Took my breath away.
Wow.
Took my breath away when we won. And the interesting thing about A Monster, it's the least selected film, but it's won the most awards.
Wow. Isn't that
Yeah.
incredible?
Yes, very incredible. And then 36 times, three films got in the same film festival.
Mm,
I have no words. I am I am honored, I am humbled, but at the same time, I recognize the fact no matter where I rank in this, I can do this. I can do this well. Now, do I need guidance? Do I need help? Would I be good to work with other director photographers, with casting, with production? Absolutely. You
mm,
know, but at the same time, you put me on the set with different people with the script. with some passionate people who like what they do and good at what they do, you know, I'll deliver something. I'll deliver something special. So
I'm sure you do, and the movies, your movies just prove that. I watched and I loved actually your last movie, Unbrotherly Love. Would you love to share about that? What inspired you, first of all, to do
so
Unbrotherly Love?
unbrotherly love. Now I spoke about my older brother
Hmm.
beforehand
Yeah.
and the impact he had, the positive impact he had on me. Um, unbrotherly love, with the exception of okay, I don't want to give too much away. Brotherly love, there's a lot of truth in that film because my older brother was not kind to me growing up.
Hmm.
And it wasn't that typical big brother stuff. My older brother treated me terribly. He would tell people embarrassing secrets about me. He didn't really want to be around me. Now he's done some good things for me, but most of my life he didn't want anything to do with me. And I remember I was sitting back talking to someone one day, and I'm just like, "Well, why this? Why that?" I said, "Hold up, why am I asking you? I need to call him." And that set me on this now 7-year journey to have a conversation with him to ask him why he treated me that way. And he wouldn't have the conversation with me. He avoided me every chance he got. So I said to myself, I got to get this off my chest. So Unbrotherly Love started off as a film that I was never going to show anyone because it
Mm,
was about me having my say. And I wrote it based off of his actions because I didn't know what he was thinking. To
mm,
me, his actions led to X, Y, and Z. But then something happened. I woke up one day, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was brokenhearted. I said, what if in this story he had just lost a daughter?
mm,
Now, life is not easy. And sometimes people tell you, just get over it, move on or whatever have you. Then where is the manual for moving on? And if it might be easier for you, what if it's not easy for me? What if you need a conversation with someone? Are you to deny yourself? The best thing you can do is understand what you need and what you don't. Now, if you have a window, if you need this conversation to move on with your life, but it comes at the worst time, what do? You
mm,
cannot have it, and then eventually the grieving process ends, and you still have that emptiness void. Or you can take the conversation on. Because again, life is not fair, it's not easy. So it's about having a conversation that the person needed at the worst possible time. And you're going to see one character rationalize everything, or at least try. Because unfortunately, there are some people who will do you wrong, but they don't want to hear about it. All they can see is the hurt that people inflicted on them, not what they've done to you.
mm.
So this film is saying, be present. And from the bottom of my heart to the top of my soul, if you have a sibling and you have a broken relationship, if you can repair it, I would love to see that repaired. Because there is no reprieve for me. I love my older brother, but he wants nothing to do with me. And I'm helpless. So when I see film or people or brothers come together, I'll never have that. And it's not because I don't want that,
Mm.
but it takes two of us to have a relationship, not one. So if you can save yours, I implore you to, because mine is out of my hands. So that's why I did it.
Thank you, Ronald, for sharing your heart. And as I said, your movie, Brotherly Love, has a very, very deep message. And that brought me to another question, which says like this: we do love people, right? And we expect them to love us the way how we want to be loved.
Mhm.
Okay. And this is tough love because the way how they love us, it's not the way how we want them to love us, if that
Yes,
makes sense, right?
yes, right?
So the message from your movie really, I mean, it touched my heart. I was like, oh wow, that's really, really, it's really deep. And guys, if you are watching this, you have the YouTube link. Please go and watch On Brotherly Love. I promise you guys, it's worth it. It has an absolutely deep message. And I learned a lot. We're gonna learn a lot. Um, it really touched my heart.
Thank you.
I'm very honest.
I am honored to hear that, because when you put out a film, you just never know, how it's going to be received. So that it just warms my heart. Thank you so much for telling me that.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's um, I see you there. I see a humble guy, a guy with a big heart, wanting to share the light, wanting to teach, to show people, to inspire people. And yes, that's absolutely what you just did on the movie I'm Brotherly Love. Even though you shared your story, but remember your story, it might be someone else's story as well.
Well, I've seen a lot of paintings I've mentioned before,
Mm,
and there's certain things you can do. There are a couple of doors open to you. So for me, instead of inflicting on people the pain that I have, I like to inspire them to that there's another door.
mm,
Now, I'm not. Now, here's the thing: if people listen, I don't have a big family, but to me, family doesn't mean bloodline.
mm,
Family means who the people that treat you like family, because you could have someone who is a blood relative who is preying on your demise. The best thing you can do is see it for what it is and make the adjustments, because I am interested in the people that treat me like family. I am interested in honoring them. I am interested in being the best I can to them. And the people that does not have my best interest, of identifying them and moving away from them,
mm,
because that's important. And so I just, for a lot of the pain that I've seen, it could turn a lot of people cold and it could turn them sour, and they would definitely have a reason to do so. But if
mm,
you can take that and use that to inspire, to make other people better, to be able to be different. And I'm not just this wonderful person or whatever have you. I've had long talks with David E. Gordon, with my mother, with my friends, and I have a good group of people around me who care about me, who will take the time to have a conversation with me,
mm,
that would take time to give me guidance. And I'll be forever grateful to them, because without that, could be a totally different person.
mm.
So,
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And let's go back to that you are an independent producer, right?
mhm,
Independent filmmaker.
mhm.
How hard is that? Do you have any support, or how you can do that? You select your people, you choose who you want to work with. How hard or easy is that for you in the
The
film
heart.
industry?
Listen, my favorite director is a guy by the name of Ridley Scott.
Hmm.
Ridley Scott, to me, has given me more information than any other director. And not only is he a great director, but he would do these things. He puts a lot of special edition stuff, bonus stuff on his DVDs or his Blu-rays. And for him, it was about commerce. It was about giving you something extra to buy it, which I'm glad he did. Through his commentaries, through his interviews, through reading newspapers, I learned so much things like script is Bible. If you're the director, it's your job, your homework to know every single thing.
Mm,
They asked him one time, what was difficult about shooting The Martian? Now, The Martian with Matt Damon, listen, if you think you can go in your backyard and just shoot The Martian tomorrow, let me tell you, that it's not going to be easy. But Ridley Scott said nothing about it was difficult. Now, if you just look at that statement, it may seem like an arrogant statement. But if you know Ridley Scott, he said it was nothing difficult because they did the work of preparation for it.
mm,
He is a master preparer for every film that he goes into.
mm,
And for me, the most difficult part about any production I've ever been was working with people who weren't focused,
yeah.
who people who were acting who really didn't have a love for it or really didn't come in ready. That was difficult, because let me tell you something. Listen, I am not bragging or boasting here, but when you're writing, you're directing, you're producing, and you're also acting,
Mm,
and you've given someone the script for 8 months, and they come into rehearsals not prepared, unready, and you're off book before they are, it can be very frustrating. But that's when you have to recognize who you're working with and try to work with other people. That's been the most difficult thing of anything, is working with people at times that probably are not focused, or they look at you as a dime a dozen. They look at you as, I could work with you and them and there and there, and they don't take the work seriously.
true.
Or they want to get prepared at the last minute. That's very, very frustrating. But fortunately, I enjoy the work. So for me, when I'm doing a film, for example, uh, we shot 3 of the 4 films within 4 months.
Wow.
However, they were written. Okay, so we shot 3 of the film. We shot Unbrotherly Love, The Color in Your Eyes, and A Monster. Between June, July, August, September.
Wow.
They were written by November of the previous year.
Mm,
So I went to each one of those, basically preparing those and getting locations, doing all of my due diligence. Because when you're an independent filmmaker and you go up to someone and says, "Hey, I would love to use your establishment," and it's June, when you tell me it's November, what do you mean?
Yeah.
All that notice. And there are times that people will make concessions with you because they know that you have a plan, and that you're not going to be, or that you have your ducks in a row, or that you can tell them what you want to do, or that you've thought about them because like you may want to use it. I'll pay your staff from midnight to 4 o'clock in the morning to use your establishment so it doesn't affect your business hours. So those are the things that have really given me a leg up, is and I enjoy it. And I take each one of them seriously. When I'm writing, I'm a writer. I'm just writing the script. After the script is over with, whenever I'm learning my lines, it's as an actor. Whenever I'm
Mm.
going over the script, to think about shots or think about exactly what I need in rehearsals, it's as a director. I give each one of those sections the respect that it needs to accomplish the overall goal. And it's been thrilling results, like shooting multiple cameras, because I do a lot of drama, and there's a lot of dialogue here. So if I put a camera on me for 3 hours and you're sitting here talking to me, and now you're drained, now I'm like, okay, you're ready? Here we go. And you're like, I've been here for 6 hours. Now you want me to sit here and give you. So I want to save my actors as much as I can.
Yeah.
And then also, if you do something amazing, if we can capture it while both of us are going, I'd like to do that, to be efficient, to save time, and so that you can go ahead and give me your best performance and not have to worry about holding it if we can help it. So
Wow. I feel you. You are passionate. You are passionate about what you're doing. I'm sure that you will always find your tribe for every movie what you want to shoot from now on. You will always find your soul tribe who will work with you together, and you're going to create amazing movies. I'm
mhm.
absolutely sure about it. You speak from your heart. You do from your heart, and you truly inspire. And that leads me to my next question. What are your next moves? What are you looking forward right now?
I'm looking forward is that man, it's a couple of things in the works. Like I've been fortunate enough to have a few meetings with some networks regarding my television shows, and because the most important thing for me would be to become a showrunner. I understand that I have never done it before, and you might have to get a veteran showrunner to come in to run that. But for me, if someone said, "Hey, can you take the reins tomorrow?" I have no doubt that I can. Now, do I think that everything's going to be easy? No, I don't. But at the same time, to be independent and have to do a lot of the heavy lifting myself, and then having great friends and great crews to work with me, the fact that now I have departments of people who are very good at what they do, who've been doing this for years, to think that I could not rise to their challenge is inconceivable to me. So I'm looking forward to hopefully having the opportunity to be able to do that. Again, I don't think it's easy, and I have no problem learning from a showrunner or sitting back and observe, because I would be happy just to be there. But it's
Mhm.
something that I put a lot of time into learning. For example, I read this 79-page document by a man named John Wells. John Wells was the showrunner for The West Wing, for
Mhm.
ER, also for a show called Shameless, and he gave a perspective that was invaluable. It was almost like this is like a lost scroll of wisdom, and also being organized and planning, months ahead. I'm very good at that. And that's what it takes, because to be an effective showrunner, to break it down, it's quality scripts on time, you know. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, I already know what my next 3 films are going to be. And I'm writing one now, the other two are already written. And I'm looking
Mm.
forward to getting those produced and doing those, and for people to see those. And and actually I haven't told anybody else about that pretty much, until now. So you're the first to hear about that.
Thank you. I feel honored. Thank you for
So
sharing
you're
that.
very welcome. Yeah, so I have 3 more that I'm looking to do. Hopefully have all of them produced. I would say no later about August of next year, and I'm looking really forward to doing that as well. Also, there is a television show that I co-wrote with a gentleman that we're getting some traction on that. So I'm hoping that between the 3 that I've created, the one I have in development, the other one I co-wrote, I'm hoping that something bears fruit, between all of those. Because for anyone that's watching this and that may be on the fence about it, I would say let's have a conversation. And I'll say, if after 15 minutes you aren't convinced, I do understand. But I do believe if you sit down with me and meet with me for 15 minutes, you'll understand the whole vision that I have, because I believe that my job as the showrunner, as the creator of a television show, is to understand the world that I'm looking to bring in and understand where we're going to go. It doesn't mean we'll necessarily get there, because you have a writer, or have a room full of writers and all things can happen, but I guarantee that we should have something better than what I'm thinking about or I intended. And it's my job to come in there to understand the world and to paint it out for at least a couple of seasons as best I can.
Oh, wow. I'm so excited for you. I'm happy for you. I truly, truly, honestly feel that everything comes from your heart. And I'm absolutely sure and convinced that whatever you would love to do, you will succeed. And with this being said, I would love to ask you, there are many people out there, you know, artists, actors, directors who want to get in the film industry. What
Mhm.
advice would you give to someone who is just about to start? They are not really sure. Okay, they are just a little bit, you know, hesitant. What
Mhm.
advice would you give to someone who would love to enter into the entertainment industry?
The first thing I would say is decide. Is this what you want to do?
Yeah, nice.
If it's not, that's fine. The first thing is decide. If you're going to do this, be sure you want to do it. And then the next thing is that when you start to on your journey, what do you want to do? And who do you admire who does the same thing?
Mm,
For example, directors, for me, Ridley Scott, Tony
mm,
Scott, God rest his soul, F. Gary Gray, Spike Lee, Steven Spielberg, David
mm,
Fincher,
mm,
Juan Fuqua, producers, whew, Clint Eastwood, um, Jerry Bruckheimer, Joel Silver,
mm.
J.J. Abrams, writer, um, William Monahan, Steve Zalian, Richard Price, actors, Gary Oldman, Denzel Washington, Tom Hanks, it could go on. So this is just to give you an example of, for every single thing I want to do, these are people that I look at who have done it.
Mm,
We talk about television, Shonda Rhimes,
mhm.
uh, J.J. Abrams, David E. Kelly, Aaron Sorkin, John Wells. So for each particular one, who is it that you looked at that does it very well? And what can you learn from them?
Yeah.
Also, is there any kind of training that you need to get? Do not be afraid of getting training, because the best thing you can do is understand what you want to do and how to do it. Then also, um, how much are you willing to invest in this?
Mm,
How much do you want this? Do you want to go all the way? You're excited. Then what is that role realistically going to possibly look like for you? And how do you prepare yourself for it? If you know I need to go to LA, or I need to go to Atlanta, start planning out for that. What is it like there? What's the temperature like there? How can I get to know different things? What kind of groups can I get in to give information? Information is vital and key.
yeah.
And I believe information a lot of times is going to give you a blueprint of how you can be successful. Because to be in the know and
Mm,
not out of the know is valuable. And yes, you may not have to do all that reconnaissance right then and there, but I believe these are things that are going to help you understand what you're going to, what it's going to be like, and what the resilience you're going to need to accomplish what you're looking to accomplish.
wow. That's so true. That's a lot of true. And never give up. How would I?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. You know,
I really enjoyed the conversation with you, Rona. I could keep you here for another hour, 2 or 3, maybe, but I'm happy and grateful that you are here and talking with me this morning.
Mhm.
And before we close this live, I would love to ask you, um, are there any words of wisdom? Put it this way, words of wisdom. What would you love to share or say to our audience today?
what I would say is, here are the things that I live by.
Mm,
If you stay ready, you never have to get ready. If you have a lot of things to do, if it's done, it doesn't have to need to get done. See, when you're independent producer or writer, director, whatever you're doing, sometimes you have certain deliverables that you need to get done. If you can get something done today, get it done today. Because today is Saturday. You could do it today, but you forget about it. And then you maybe think about it again on Wednesday. Look at all the time is lost. I could have emailed you about doing a thing for me, and then I could have gotten a response back from you. But because I forgot, I do Wednesday and make lists and cross them out. So, also come up with a system
mm,
system
nice.
of what works for you. when I am when I'm writing a film or working on a film, whatever have you, I go to a coffee shop to read over a script, to make notes. I will put on a movie commentary while I'm writing, because to me it puts me in the same room with greatness.
Yeah.
You know, that, I mean, that's how I feel, but I don't know. Hopefully I'm being great, but that's what
No, we are all
my
destined for
system.
greatness. Remember
Yes,
that.
and I get stuff done. So so so
Wow.
put yourself a system up. Also, seek out counsel. Understand when you're getting good counsel from someone and bad
Mm,
counsel. And if it's somebody who you don't particularly like, if they're telling you something and the facts lay out, listen. If you're
mm,
getting good counsel from someone, take heed to that.
sure.
But also, when you're dealing with working with something, as far as a film or acting, whatever, if you have a feeling that you're on the right path, go with that. But if you prove yourself wrong, have the courage and being willing to go back and rework it, to go back and look at it. If you find yourself that you're on the right track, then go with it. But do not be afraid to go back and rework something if you find yourself that for some reason, you didn't get it right. So
Thank you. That was amazing. So we're gonna part with this. Don't be afraid. Failure does not exist. There are always lessons. Lessons learned. From every time when you try and you think that you fail, you actually learn the lesson. And when you start again, you will not start from zero because you will start with a lot more knowledge, a lot more wisdom. I would love to thank you from the bottom of my heart from being here with me today. It was an absolute honor, a pleasure. Thank you very much, guys, for watching me, for all the hearts and loves and comments. I promise I'm gonna go back and answer to each and one of you. I wish you a wonderful day, a marvelous weekend, and I'm gonna see you next time. And until then, as always, sending you all lots of love and light. Bye for now.
bye bye.